Hey guys, this is Castro here at Stocks and Options, and this is the market forecast that we're gonna do this week. First, of course, I want to start off with the IWM, and just denote what our expectations for the previous week and how exactly that played out. So, last week for the IWM, the Russell 2000, it was an epic failure. Right? Kind of went a little bit high with this one. So the forecast was 174.83. And we only went as high as 170, right? And 90 cents, right? This should have been here, our forecast, but we went a little bit higher on this one. So that was a failure on our part, right? So we had the market start off the week off a little bit low, 164, and it went as high as this support, or which turned to resistance area right here, right? So IWM traded really solid, accumulated around this area. So what we see for IWM coming into this week, a few things. We have here inverted hammer, right? This is usually an indication for possible upside, but heavy selling pressure here for the Russell 2000 or ticker IWM. When we look at the rest of the indicators, what are we seeing, right? So we see the CCI here kind of hinging a little bit, right? Kind of hinging just a tad bit for the CCI. The RSI here, usually don't use this, but it's trading below the 50, right? This is a new segment we're going to talk about. Whenever the RSI trades below 50, where 50 being the median, that just denotes a bearish trend, right? What we're seeing here in the stochastics looks like more upside for the price action. But overall, looking at the aggregate volume here, right? Candle, right? Possibly, we can definitely see the IWM come up just a little bit. But overall, I'm going to go here with the overall assessment, right? Forecast. I'm going to go with price target of 159.64 for IW, the Russell 2000. Doesn't mean that we could potentially on Monday see a little bit more upside, right? And then, of course, coming down eventually here. But overall here, 159.64 IW. Looking to the Qs, the Qs definitely broke the June lows of $269.36. And as you see here, once that broke, right? Once it broke here, definitely see the Qs, the NASDAQ 100, just coming a little bit lower. And I'm going to go here to this support area of 263.26. That's $263.26. Usually what happens, right? Whenever a stock or ETF breaks a key level of support, we see two things happen, right? We see comes down, right? We're going to go here. Comes down here, right? Only to retest. And this time frame is going to be a little bit off, right? Only to retest, right? This time frame again, it's going to be off, right? I'm not going to specific with a time frame, and eventually, right? Eventually, come a little bit lower. Eventually, come a little bit lower here, right? It's usually what happens, right? We have the stock ETF goes a little bit lower, then it retests that, right? That support area was support, then became resistance. Usually it wants to retest it, and then it comes back down, right? So we're going to see this is a three-part, right? Three-part forecast that I'm doing right now. Do not get caught up on the date themselves, the 24th of October. I'm just saying that next week sometime we should definitely go see it a little bit low side, right? This is the one that I'm definitely going to be looking for next week. a week or two from today, coming a little bit lower to hit support there and possibly retesting, right? Retesting the June lows and then eventually coming down some more, right? No, I'm gonna just do a two-part. That's two-part right here. Comes down and then retests support resistance once again, right? This was support, as you guys saw right here. It used to be support, now it's resistance. So again, it's gonna come down the price size, it comes down a little bit lower, and then it's gonna try to retest. Right? So let's go to the Dow Jones Industrial. When we look at the Dow Jones itself, this was the forecast for the Dow Jones. We said that it would test $301, and there was a failure on our part. So it only went as high as $298. So it missed about $3, $4, right? $4. We thought it had closed this gap right here, but it did not. Right. So this gap is still available and open right now. Right. So what are we seeing now for the Dow Jones Industrial? Well, we know that it broke the June lows, right? So it's now below that. It broke it here, went down, and as you can see, right, this is what I meant. It retested those June lows again, right there. Right? See, came down, boom, right? Support, right? Retested the June lows, then it puked down, right? So for the Russell, I mean, not the Russell, but Dow Jones Industrial, I am seeing us coming just a little bit down, right? Retesting the support area of $282.47. That's where I'm going with that. You notice that, look at that, the CCI, Commodity Channel Index, trending downward, right? So definitely see more downside for this potentially for next week, right? Stochastics, right? Downward as well, right? For the stochastics, which fits the forecast precisely. So let's look at the SPY, the S&P 500. So for the S&P 500, we had it slated to come to $377.43. But what it did though is that Wednesday, it went as high as 372, right? So missed it by $5 for this one. Intentionally, we had said that it was going to close this gap, right? It came very, very close to close the gap. Not really sure why I even went higher here, but didn't. Slightly close the gap and did not go to the full term of our forecast. So then it started coming down, right? So it definitely broke the June lows, right? This is the June lows here, right? So that's already been broken. So now, right, we can easily say that overall, this is the overall, right? S&P 500 should easily test this support area right there. Right? I'm going to go with 346.39, right? You know what? This support area, I'm going to go with this support here, which is 249.52. 249.52. I'm going to go here 249.52. Right? Eventually, yeah, 249.52. Right? Everything about this particular ETF says that we have more downside. Right? The CCI is trending downward, right? Bearish. Right? Look at the stochastics. Right? Trying to find its footing for the downside, right? That's bearish as well, right? And it's also trading below the momentum line, right? That's bearish. So as you can see, next week, we still see a little bit more downside, right? We could potentially rally just a little bit, right? But overall, right, this is the overall of the market, the breadth of the market. We have it coming down to pass what it closed on last week, right? Definitely coming down next week. See, 57. Yeah, definitely coming down in the next few weeks to come, right? I have it to the 13 here, but it's a 2-week forecast. So what I want to do here, though, I definitely want to show you guys the weekly chart. It's important to understand the bigger picture, right? So the weekly chart, right? Look at this. A clear representation of what we're seeing too, right? For the weekly chart. Bearish candle, support there, right? Support right here, at this level to 357, some change. And we have it again, 349. Eventually, and I say eventually here, it's probably November, December timeframe. I can definitely see the market rally just a little bit higher, right? For November timeframe. But October, I think October, first, second week of October, we're going to see some new lows established for the market. Same thing that we can see with the Qs for the weekly chart for the Qs. Yeah, definitely same thing we're seeing with the Qs here. Right. Bearish, possibly retesting that that support that's now resistance. Right, then we'll see what happens after that. Right. So that's all we got, guys, for the market forecast. Just want to show you the Qs and also the S&P 500 for the macro, the weekly chart. But overall, we have the market actually going a little bit lower. Right? For next week, we're going to be getting into some put debit spreads on Monday if we're not already on them. But that's going to be really the keys for us to make a little bit of money, right? Our trading ideas. I'm be looking for put debit spreads for at least 5 weeks, all the way to the end of October timeframe. Right? We always say, always practice logical emotions, and more importantly, we'll see you guys at the finish line. Peace and be blessed. Bye.